Prologue Encounter. The battle against Majin Buu had ended and our warriors continued with their lives. But a new threat arose, and that was the god of destruction Beerus. After his battle, and after earning his friendship, our black-haired hero was lost in thought in the world of Beerus. Hey Kakarot called the Prince of the Saiyans. But our favorite Saiyan was lost in his thoughts, and did not hear that he was being called. Are you even listening to me, you damn insect? Shouted the angry prince, because Goku was not paying attention to him. This led him to strike Goku on the head to bring him back from his thoughts. Ouch, groaned Son Goku as he held his head with both hands. Why did you do that, Vegeta? Goku said, not understanding the reason for that hit. It is your fault for not listening when people are speaking to you, stupid, he said with anger in his voice. What are you thinking about so hard that you did not even notice when I arrived? Vegeta, listen, Goku said, looking at him seriously. I am thinking about leaving. Leaving to where? The prince asked, looking him in the eyes seriously. This world no longer has anything to offer someone who wants to become stronger like me, Vegeta. You were the only thing keeping me here until now, but ever since your daughter was born you train less, and the gap between us keeps growing more visible, Goku said seriously. Are you saying you are now more powerful than me? Vegeta said with a vein bulging on his forehead. Even if you do not like to admit it, that is the reality, and you know it too. In the unlikely case that were true, do you forget that Lord Beerus and Whis still exist? Do not think too highly of yourself, Kakarot, just because you are a little stronger than me. In the end he admitted this, reluctantly acknowledging that his rival was a little stronger than him due to neglecting his training to take care of little bra. They do not count, Vegeta. Lord Beerus spends his time sleeping, and Whis is an immortal angel. That is why I am thinking of asking Whis if he can take me to some interesting universe. Vegeta was surprised because for the first time he heard his rival say something sensible for a Saiyan, since their blood calls for battle and not sitting around doing nothing. And what will you tell your wife and children, insect? Vegeta said to a smiling Goku. That is already settled. She was very angry at first, but she is used to me being gone for years. Besides, I told her I might not come back, so if she wanted to remarry she could. Kakarot, either you have a lot of courage or you are too much of an idiot. Vegeta knew well the temper of the wife of Goku, and knew her fury was like that of his own wife Bulma, which frightened more than any enemy they had ever faced. Well, that was all I wanted to talk to you about, Vegeta. He extended his hand toward the prince, who was surprised by that gesture, but after looking into his eyes he realized this meant goodbye, and so he extended his own hand, and with that handshake he would say farewell to a friend and rival forever. Several days later, with everything ready for his departure, he transported himself to the world of Beerus, where Whis was waiting for him. I was starting to think you would not come, Goku-san. Ha, Whis said with a little laugh. I am sorry, Whis-san, but I had to say goodbye to everyone, Goku said, rubbing the back of his neck. Well, it does not matter if you have finished everything. Let us begin. I have been searching among the universes without ruling gods, and most of them are not good for someone with your power. What kind of universes were they? Goku asked with interest. Well, there were several of them. A universe of pirates, another with ninjas, one with people wearing armor made of precious metals, another of food seekers, and one with people who fight in spirit form, was said in an amused tone. But if you went to any of those universes you would be labeled a monster, or worse, because of your power. So there is nothing that can be done, Goku said with his head down at not being able to leave for adventure. Relax. In the end I found a young universe that seemed very interesting, but you should know that when traveling between dimensions your body might undergo some changes, or you could even get lost. Do you still want to go through with this, Goku-san? Whis said as a final warning for Goku. He. I could not be more excited about this, Goku said with his famous smile. Then say no more. Whis moved his staff forward, creating a dimensional hole. Go ahead, Goku-san, and I wish you the best in your new life. Thank you, Whis-san, for everything, and please thank Lord Beerus too when he wakes up, Goku said, bowing to his teacher. Then off we go. But suddenly a large number of key spheres flew toward Goku coming from the palace of Beerus, which he had launched. While sleeping they began striking everywhere, and one of them struck directly inside the destabilized portal, swallowing Goku whole. Oh dear, who knows where Goku-san will end up? Let us hope it is a good place, and that he does not end up wandering the dimensional rift forever. In another world, a girl with long crimson hair looked at the stars from a window, while thinking, I wonder if true love exists, and if it does I hope I can find it someday. The crimson-haired girl thought. What she did not imagine was that she would soon meet that person, and it would change everything she knew. 2 months before the death of Issei, night had nearly fallen, and at Kua Academy, a pair of young women were in their clubroom. Wow, it got pretty late without us noticing with all this paperwork, Ria said, while looking out the window and seeing the moon. It is true Butchow. I think we should head out for today, do you not think so? Aquino said, while handing Riaz a cup of tea. Then let us go, but she could not finish her sentence, because she was left stunned upon seeing a rift in the sky. What in the world is that? Riaz said confused. Aquino leaned over to see what Riaz was pointing at and was left the same way, not knowing what that strange rift in the sky was. Could this be the work of one of the factions? Aquino said with a serious face. I do not think so. For the moment everything is at peace between the three factions, and I do not think that thing in the sky is something anyone from this world could create. Can you not feel the powerful energy coming from that thing? Riaz answered with a face that showed she did not quite know what that thing was. At that instant, while the two young women were wondering what it could be, something shot out of the rift at great speed and crashed into the back of the building, shaking the whole school. Riaz, something shot out of the rift, Aquino said, startled. Riaz nodded at what was said, and when they were about to go out to see what had come out, the rift closed. That strange rift is closing after that thing shot out of it, Riaz thought, even more confused by the strange events. Let us go, Aquino, and prepare for the worst, Riaz said to her companion. Understood Butchow, Aquino replied, changing into her Thunder Priestess outfit. When the two young women arrived at the place where the object that came out of the rift had crashed, to their surprise they saw that inside the enormous crater there was an injured young man. Is this young man the object that came out of that strange rift? Aquino said, confused by what she was seeing. It looks that way, Aquino. For now we should take him to the club, and when he wakes up he can explain to us where he came from, Riaz said. And with that she and Aquino prepared to carry the young man, but to their surprise they could not move him a single inch from the ground. What in the world is this boy made of? He weighs like a truck, Riaz said, stunned by the strange weight the young man had. This way we will get nowhere. It would be best to use magic to make him float to the club, Aquino said in an amused voice. I do not know what you find funny about this situation, but you are right, let us do that. And with that said they carried the unconscious young man to the clubroom. Once inside they laid him on the couch, and saw he had several wounds, so they set about removing his clothes, and at that moment they realized that the weight of the young man came from those clothes. What in the world are these garments made of? They weigh an absurd amount, Riaz said, struggling to pull off his shirt. Not just the shirt, look at the wristbands, the boots, even the sash are made of that strange super heavy material, Aquino answered, surprised that a human could move with that weight without being pulled down by gravity. Another mystery about the boy from the rift. Boy from the rift, Aquino asked, surprised by how little thought her companion put into naming things. We have to call him something somehow, Riaz said. But you could have thought of a better name, Aquino teased her with a smile. He came out of the rift, did he not? So boy from the rift is what we will call him, until he wakes up, Riaz said, puffing out her chest proudly, which made a bead of sweat form on the forehead of Aquino. After an hour they finally managed to get his shirt off, leaving his body exposed, and leaving the two young women with a look of surprise upon seeing the body of the young man. Can this even be possible? Riaz thought upon seeing the statuesque body of the young man, which was all muscle without an ounce of fat. Was the only thought that crossed the mind of Aquino as she took in a body that not even the finest statue could achieve. Aquino, touch him, he is hard to steal, Riaz said to her companion, while touching the chest of the young man. It is true, Riaz, his body seems built for battle, Aquino said, while running her hands over the perfectly formed muscles of his stomach. Who in the world are you? Riaz thought while brushing the hair from his forehead, and upon looking closely at his face she thought he was quite a handsome young man. It seems our friend from the rift is handsome too, Aquino said, while looking at the face of the unconscious young man. Once they finished treating the young man, the two of them prepared to head home, leaving him to rest. The next morning the young man woke with the first rays of the sun, feeling quite confused to realize he was in a place he did not recognize. Where am I? The young man said to himself, but at that moment, he sensed an energy approaching the place where he was. A negative energy is approaching. It does not seem very powerful. I think it is about the level of Tao Pai Pai. The young man thought, well, let us see how this turns out. At that instant the door opened, and a young woman with crimson hair walked in, who stopped and stared at the wild-haired young man in surprise. Oh wow, it seems you finally woke up, the young woman said to him. So it was you who brought me to this place? The young man asked. Exactly, my companion, and I brought you here after you shot out of that strange rift and crashed behind the building, Riaz answered the confused young man. Oh well, thank you very much. What is your name? The young man said with a smile that made the heart of Riaz skip a beat. I am sorry for not introducing myself. My name is Riaz Gremory of the Gremory clan. And what is your name, Riaz? asked the young man, who smiled innocently. Hello Riaz, nice to meet you. I am Son Goku, but you can just call me Goku, Goku said, giving his famous smile, which made the heart of Riaz race again. Pleased to meet you Goku, she answered with a smile. What in the world is wrong with me? That my heart races so fast. Just seeing his smile, Ria's thought, not understanding why this was happening to her. Well Goku, I would like to know where you come from, but it would be best to wait until the other club members arrive, Ria said while sitting at her desk. Club? Goku asked with a big question mark over his head. Do you not even know what a club is? Ria said to the confused Saiyan. Not at all, he replied. It seems I will have to teach you many things, but that will be after the others arrive, she told the Saiyan, who replied with an okay. Several minutes passed, and while Goku looked out the window he sensed three energies similar to the one of Ria's approaching, and at that moment the door opened, revealing Akino, who looked in surprise at the Saiyan by the window, followed by Kibayudo and Taojo Kaneko, who looked at the Saiyan in confusion. Ara, it seems you woke up, Fufu, Akino said, with that seductive smile at Goku. Well, we are all here now, so we can begin, Ria said, giving everyone the signal to sit, and letting Goku begin his introduction. Hello everyone, my name is Son Goku, but you can call me Goku, he said to everyone with his typical smile which raised a heartbeat or two in Akino and Kaneko. Hello, I am Hamejima Akino, a pleasure Goku, she said with a playful smile. I am Kibayudo, a pleasure Goku-san, Kiba said, giving a small bow. I am Taojo Kaneko, a pleasure, the small girl said with her expressionless face. And these are all the members of the Occult Research Club, Ria said, but Goku was puzzled and asked. But none of you are human, are you? Goku said, surprising everyone. How do you know we are not human? Goku Ria's asked. Because I sense negative energy coming from all of you, he answered the question of Ria's. Can you sense the energy of people? Goku Akino asked. Can you all not? Goku said, which brought a bead of sweat to the head of everyone. Well, it is true, we are not human, we are devils, Ria said, confusing the Saiyan. Do you know what a devil is? Goku. Of course I know, but the devils I remember do not look anything like you all. They were ugly and strange, and you all are pretty and look like normal humans, Goku said, making the three girls blush. Thank you, but we are the real thing, look. And after saying that, they all showed their respective wings. Wow, the Saiyan was amazed. Now that you know this, it is your turn to tell us where you come from and why you came out of that strange rift, Ria's proposed, and the Saiyan nodded and set about telling them his story. A couple of hours after the Saiyan finished telling them all his adventures, only silence could be heard in the clubroom, while everyone sat there with their mouths open after hearing it all. Are you telling me that in your world there are beings who can destroy galaxies, like it is nothing, and that you are an alien whose planet was destroyed by a universal emperor out of fear of your race? Ria said, stunned by the story she had just heard, still unable to believe it. That is right, did I say something strange? Is it that in this world there is no one who can do those things? Goku asked, confused with question marks over his head. Of course there is not, everyone shouted at the same time in perfect sync. How strange, I asked. Was to send me to a world that had strong people, Goku said, confused. That Whis you speak of is the angel who serves the god of destruction you told us about, Kiba said. Yes, that is him. It was supposed to be that he found a world where I could fight strong people. But when I was about to step through the portal, Goku exclaimed, remembering what happened. Did you remember something? Goku Ria said, worried by the face of the Saiyan. Yes, I remember that at that moment Lord Beerus started throwing energy balls, and one hit me, launching me into the rift, and while I was regaining my balance many more came through. And that is all I remember, Goku told the club members. I see, which left you wandering without direction, and you ended up appearing here in Kua by chance, Ria said after thinking over what Goku had said. But there is one thing that does not quite add up in your story, Goku, Ria said seriously. Something that does not add up, Goku said, confused, not understanding. Exactly, according to your story, you said you have 2 children, Gohan and Goten, right? Yes, that is what I said. Where's the strange part in that? Goku said, even more confused by the question. How can it be that someone as young as you already has one married son, and another who is 12 years old is what I do not understand, Ria said, leaving Goku with a raised eyebrow, not understanding anything. I am not young. If I remember correctly, I should be about 43 years old, Goku answered, which made the club members look at him strangely. Do you really think you are that age? Have you not even looked in a mirror yet? Akino said to a now completely confused Goku. Then Rias pointed to the mirror on the wall, and Goku went to look at himself since he no longer knew what to think, and found in the mirror his own self from when he fought Piccolo in the World Tournament. Yeah, how did I become young? He was completely surprised, and could not stop looking at himself from every angle. But suddenly he said, oh well, what can you do, putting his hands behind his head and smiling, which made everyone fall over in shock. You are a very carefree person, are you not? Kiba said. Fufu, Goku-san is a very interesting person, Akino laughed, while looking at Goku, as if she were very interested in him. Goku-senpai is strange, Kaneko said while eating cookies. Hey Goku, what will happen now with your wife? And children, Riaz asked, and the Saiyan answered her. Well, would you not worry about that? My former wife surely found someone better than me. My son Gohan is married, and gotten is with his mother, so I am free to do whatever I want, Goku said carefreely. Did you not love your wife, or what? Riaz asked confused. Love, what is that? Goku said, which left everyone wide-eyed. You were married with 2 children, and you are telling me you do not know what love is? Riaz said with a raised eyebrow. Well, I got married because of a promise which I believed meant that asking for someone's hand meant they would give me something tasty to eat. He said, scratching his head. Riaz and the others thought, how can someone be so innocent? Well, Goku, setting that aside, I would like you to show us a bit of your power, Riaz said, while the others nodded. That is fine with me. But let us go outside. I do not want this place to come crashing down, Goku said. And the others agreed, though still thinking he was exaggerating. Once outside the club building, they moved a little away, and then Goku prepared to raise his ki. If you are ready, watch, and everyone stood there staring intently to see what the Saiyan would do. Goku shouted, and began to raise his ki, shaking the whole area, while Riaz and her group watched with fear the incredible power they were sensing coming from Goku. Can this even be possible? Riaz said. But she said it in a barely audible voice. The ki kept increasing more and more, making the white aura surrounding him grow larger, and the club building began to show cracks. But it did not stop there, because throughout the city of Kua everything began to shake. People screamed in fear, thinking it was the largest earthquake of all time, something that would be remembered for a long time after. But this display did not go unnoticed by any of the 3 factions, who were terrified upon sensing such a monstrous power, and quickly began tracking its location. That is enough, Goku, please stop, Riaz shouted, barely managing to stay standing under the pressure, and Goku stopped immediately. Is that it? And I have not even released 10% of my base power, Goku said, disappointed, which left everyone stunned. All that power, and it was not even 10%, Riaz said, amazed and afraid of the being standing before her. That was amazing, Kiba said. Powerful, Kaneko said. Fufu Aquino laughed, looking at Goku with hungry eyes. So now what? Goku asked Riaz, pulling her out of her thoughts. I must have him no matter what now that I know how powerful he is, Riaz thought, looking at the imposing Saiyan. Hey Goku, would you be interested in becoming a devil? If I become a devil, what would that mean? Goku asked, now serious. As part of my clan, you would be under my orders as your master, Riaz said. Goku stood there thinking for a while, which felt like an eternity to a nervous Riaz. Alright, but on the condition that I will not take orders from you, or anyone else. If you accept this, I would gladly become part of your clan, Goku said, looking seriously into the eyes of Riaz. May I ask the reason for that condition? Riaz asked. Because I am a Saiyan, and we do not like bowing to anyone. We are a proud race, or so Vegeta told me. If you do not want to accept my condition, then never mind, Goku explained. Riaz thought it over quickly, and accepted the conditions of Goku, and with that she quickly began the ritual, but no peace worked for him. And as a last resort and praying, she used all 8 pawns, which were accepted, making her overjoyed, and she hugged Goku out of excitement, which made her blush deeply, and made the others laugh. With everything settled, only one thing remained to say. Welcome to the Occult Research Club, they all said in unison. Whoa, one more thing, I will enroll you in school, Riaz said. I never went to school, Goku said, leaving everyone surprised. You can read at least, right? Riaz asked, no longer surprised by anything. Goku said. Yes, Master Mutant Roshi taught me to read and write in a little bit of adding and subtracting, Goku said, remembering old times. That is too basic, but it does not matter, you just pay attention to the lessons, and you will learn something, she told the Saiyan, who replied with an okay. Well, now we just need to find you a place to live, Riaz told Goku, knowing he had nowhere to go. Thank you, that would be a great help, Riaz, Goku told her with his typical smile. Well, let us head home for today, since it has been a very long day, Riaz said to everyone, bringing to an end a day that had been like a roller coaster for the club members. At this moment, Riaz and Goku were walking toward the new house of the Saiyan. Along the way, the two talked about many things to get to know each other better. Riaz was all smiles, and did not even notice it herself, since being next to the Saiyan seemed to bring out a side of her that she rarely showed to anyone. After a long walk that felt short as they talked, they arrived at their destination. Here it is, Riaz said, showing Goku his new home. So from now on I will live here, Goku said, amazed by his new home, which was a modern-looking 2-story house. Let us go in, Riaz told the Saiyan, who was still staring at his new house in amazement. Once inside the house, Riaz began guiding him through it. Goku grew more and more amazed by his new fully equipped home, but there was one problem, one thing that was most necessary for Goku. Hey Riaz, he said in a serious voice. Is something wrong? Is there something you do not like, Goku, she asked, since she saw the Saiyan was serious for the first time since they had met. Yes, something is wrong, Riaz, And it is very serious, he answered her with an increasingly serious look which began to worry Riaz. Tell me what it is, and I will try to fix it, she said nervously. And then he answered, there is no food, which made Riaz fall over in shock. With a bead of sweat on her head she told him, if that is the problem, do not worry, if you want we can go out for dinner together tonight, and tomorrow I will have food delivered for you for a whole month, Riaz said with a smile which made stars appear in the eyes of Goku. And he started smiling, and shouted, well then let us go, taking Riaz by the hand, and pulling her along, which turned her red as a tomato. Once outside the house we could see Goku and Riaz on their way to a place to have dinner, but there was one more thing, and that was that he had been holding her hand since they left the house, and Riaz was so embarrassed that steam seemed to rise from her head. Go Goku, she said, stammering from embarrassment. Yes, he answered as if nothing were happening, giving her his usual smile. Could you let go of my hand? People are starting to stare, Riaz said, who was almost at her limit of embarrassment. Whoa, sorry, I did not notice. He. He rubbed the back of his neck while laughing. I never thought holding hands with a boy on the street could be this embarrassing, Riaz thought, since she usually seemed like someone unaffected by such things, but deep down she was truly a maiden at heart. A while later they arrived at their destination, a family restaurant. Riaz still did not know what was about to happen, and when the waitress handed them the menu was when she saw for the first time how someone could eat everything on a menu and still order dessert. How can you fit all that food in your body without exploding? Goku, Riaz said, still amazed by the appetite of Goku. I could not tell you, I have always had this appetite for as long as I can remember, but according to Vegeta we Saiyans eat so much because our metabolism is much faster than that of humans, he answered, as if it were something normal, which made Riaz sigh. Saiyans are something out of the ordinary, she said with a raised eyebrow. Hiya, if you say that you will make me blush, Goku said, thinking it was a compliment which brought a bead of sweat to the head of Riaz. Well, it is getting late, let us go since tomorrow will be a busy day, the redhead told the Saiyan. Once they arrived at the house of our hero, Riaz spoke. Goku, tomorrow morning I will come by so we can go get your uniform and the things you need for school, Riaz said, and Goku nodded. Well, get some rest, Goku, she said with a smile. You too, Riaz, see you tomorrow, Goku answered with his typical smile, and so he went into his new home. Riaz, still standing at the door, stared off into space, thinking, this is the first time a man has not looked at me like I am a piece of meat, Riaz thought, since men always looked at her with lust. But Goku the whole day only looked into her eyes without lust, without malice, just into her eyes, and that did not displease her. The more I think about him, the more mysteries I find in him. And those were her last words as she looked at the moon before heading home. The next morning Riaz arrived at the house of Goku along with Aquino, who for some reason insisted on coming with her. Aquino, it is not necessary for you to also skip class and come with us, Riaz said to her companion in a slightly annoyed tone. Riaz, do you perhaps want to have a date alone with Goku? The black-haired girl said, which brought a blush to the cheeks of the redhead. Oh, how could you even think something like that, Aquino, Riaz said, growing nervous, while Aquino laughed teasingly. We are just going to get his uniform and school supplies, she said, trying to sound calm. Well, if that is all, it should not matter if I come along too, Aquino insisted, and Riaz, sighing, had no choice but to accept, though feeling a little disappointed. Let us go in already, Riaz said, and Aquino nodded, and the two entered the house. Once inside they went upstairs to wake the Saiyan, but to their surprise he was not in his room. Maybe he is in the bathroom, the two said, and went downstairs to find he was not there either. Where could he be, Riaz said, confused. Maybe he went out, Aquino told Riaz. But where would he go if he does not know the city, Riaz said, knowing Goku did not know the city yet. Let us go look for him then, Aquino said to a worried Riaz, whose new servant might be lost. But at that moment they heard the front door, and the two went to look, and found Goku returning from somewhere dirty and sweating. Goku, where did you go? Riaz shouted at him, and Goku looked at her confused, not knowing what was happening. Is something wrong, girls? Goku asked the two confused girls, not knowing what was going on. Goku, where were you until now? Aquino asked the Saiyan. Training, the black-haired man said. Since when have you been training? Riaz said, still a little angry. Since before dawn, it is my daily routine, he answered the question of Riaz. You could have told me this last night, so I would not worry about whether you were lost, the redhead said with a sigh of relief at seeing Goku was fine. Sorry, Riaz, for worrying you. But everything is fine. I do not think there is anything in this world that could hurt me, Goku said with his hands behind his head, and a little laugh. You have too much confidence in your strength, Goku, Aquino said in a questioning tone. Well, Goku, go take a shower, because we have several places to go today, Riaz said, closing the topic, and the Saiyan nodded, and went to shower. Once out on the street, the three of them drew a lot of attention from people. which was normal for Akino and Rias since they were beauties not seen very often, but Goku was also the target of stares from women of every age since he was still wearing his fighting gi, which left his muscular arms in view of everyone, and his chest strained against his shirt along with his sturdy neck, and his face was that of someone very attractive. Once they reached their destination, Rias asked the clerk to bring out a Kua Academy uniform for Goku. After measuring him, the clerk seemed to enjoy that quite a bit. They handed him the uniform, and he went into the fitting room, but a minute later came out without his shirt, which caused a stir among the clerks and several women in the store. "Put your shirt on," Rias shouted at Goku, completely red, trying not to look at the body of the Saiyan. But Akino was the complete opposite, looking at him the way a predator looks at its prey with a mischievous smile. "This is very annoying. The shirt is too tight and so are the pants, and the jacket is suffocating," Goku said with an annoyed face, "because of the clothes." "Young man, that is the largest size we have," the clerk answered with a flustered smile on her face. "You heard her, Goku, so stop complaining so much and get dressed already, you exhibitionist," Rias scolded the shirtless Saiyan. Once they finished buying the uniform, and after the clerks secretly slipped him their phone numbers, and after Rias saw that and tore up the papers with the phone numbers, which left Goku with a question mark over his head, they continued shopping without much trouble. Once the shopping was finished, they stopped for lunch, which was quite a show for everyone, especially Akino, who was seeing it for the first time, and had her eyes wide at the appetite Goku had. Back at the house of Goku, after putting everything away, Rias spoke to Goku, while they had tea in the living room. "Goku, tonight we have work to do, so this will be your first job, and a chance to show us what you can do," Rias said, looking at the Saiyan, who tilted his head in confusion, and asked, "What kind of work is that? If it is something that puts people's lives in danger, I will not do it," he said with a serious look. "Relax, there is nothing that puts anyone in danger," Akino said to calm the mood. "Then what is it about?" he asked, looking at the two girls. "A stray devil," Rias said. "Stray devil, what is that?" the confused Saiyan asked. "A stray devil is someone who betrayed their master, which ends up turning them into a monster that endangers the lives of humans," Rias explained to Goku, who nodded along, but did not understand a thing. Akino watched Goku with an amused expression on her face, seeing him nod along while his face showed he understood nothing. Rias noticed too, and with a sigh told him, "Well, when you see it you will understand what I mean," which earned her a smile from Goku that made not only Rias blush, but strangely Akino as well. "Well, that is all. We will see each other tonight," Rias said, ending the conversation. "Okay," Goku said, giving a thumbs up, which drew a smile from the girls. That night the club members were at an abandoned factory, which was supposedly where the stray devil was hiding. "Goku, I want you to show me your battle skills against that creature tonight," Rias told the Saiyan, while the others had something to say. "Butchow, I think letting him face the devil alone on his first day is dangerous," Kiba said, worried. "It is true," Kaneko said without changing her expression, but with concern in her tone. "Ha ha ha, thanks guys, but I will be fine," Goku answered them, putting one hand on the shoulder of Kiba, and with the other patting Kaneko on the head, who was happy about the attention. "Phew phew phew," laughed Akino. "Then let us go." And already the black-haired girl said, and Rias nodded. Once inside the factory, everyone was looking in every direction, searching for the devil, except Goku, who walked straight without losing his way, knowing exactly where it was hiding. "Hey, come out from behind that corner," Goku shouted, surprising everyone since he found it as quickly as he said he would. At that moment a figure appeared from behind the corner, at which point a confused Goku asked his companions, "Is that the stray devil?" "Do not let her appearance fool you," Rias told the confused Saiyan. And at that moment the devil revealed its true form, showing a monstrous lower body, covered in fur with 4 legs like those of an animal, and measured over 10 meters. "That is what it really looks like," Akino said, while Goku nodded, looking the strange creature up and down. "Well, whatever it is, all we need to do is get rid of it, right?" Goku said, and everyone nodded. But at that moment, the monster roared and lunged at the Saiyan, who did not move, which made the others shout at him to move. But it was useless. In an instant the monster struck where Goku had been standing, kicking up a huge cloud of dust. The others were stunned, thinking their companion had been hit, and were about to step in when the dust began to clear, and they saw he was not only unharmed but had stopped the attack with a single finger. "Impossible," they all said in unison as if they had rehearsed it. "You are very weak," Goku told the monster, which roared desperately, trying to crush the Saiyan, but without any success. "Disappear," and extending his free hand toward the monster, he fired a blast of ki, eliminating the monster without leaving even a trace. Silence was all that could be heard. Rias, Akino, Kiba, and Kaneko just stood there staring wide-eyed with their jaws hanging open at what they had just witnessed. "Powerful," Rias said. "Impressive," Akino said, excited by what she had witnessed. "Ki," Kaneko said, knowing what that attack was. too strong, Kiba said, thinking he was lucky not to be his enemy. Well, with this we are done, right? Goku said as he approached, snapping everyone out of their trance. That is right, we can head home now, Ria said, stammering, but trying to seem as normal as possible. Right, since tomorrow is the first day of Goku at school, Akino said, still looking at Goku, as if she had found something after a long time. Akino is right, tomorrow you will start as a third-year student, so prepare yourself tonight, so you do not forget anything, understood, Ria said. Okay, Ria's Goku said with his spirits low at having to go to school, and not being able to train as much as he wanted. Congratulations, Goku senpai, Kiba said, giving the Saiyan a pat with a smile on his face. Ha ha ha, thanks, Goku replied with a bead of sweat on his head. As they were leaving, Goku felt someone tug his shirt, and when he turned to see who it was, he saw Kaneko. What is it, Kaneko? He asked the small girl. Senpai, that thing you used was ki, right? The girl asked, staring straight into the eyes of the Saiyan, and he returned her gaze with a smile. That is right, that was ki. Why do you ask? He asked the girl, who had a troubled expression. No reason, just curiosity, she answered after thinking hard. Kaneko, Goku said while patting her head, which made her relax. I can imagine why you asked, but do not worry, whenever you are ready and want to talk about it, remember that I will be there for you. Those words surprised and made her blush, and she nodded with a smile. And with that the day came to an end, and everyone went to their respective homes to rest, since tomorrow would be the day that Son Goku for the first time in his life would go to school.